Next time a man asks you to take care of your female duties, if a motherfucker asks you to cook and clean for him, please, if my female duties is to cook, clean, and deliver babies, then let's look at the male roles, shall we? Are you going to build me a house? Are you going hunting and I'm gonna get me some fresh deer so I can cook it for you? Are you building me furniture? Are you fighting a war for my freedom? If the answer is no, then you better learn how to cook and clean and share responsibility, darling, because times have changed.
Times have changed, haven't they, gentlemen? You know, this woman right here, guys, has lost her mind, okay? Men do not ask for a lot in relationships. There are men out there who would have a relationship with a woman. She doesn't have to do anything. She doesn't have to cook. She doesn't have to clean. She just has to be there. But you see, what women want, guys, is they want a dude who's above them. They want a dude who earns more money. They want a guy who's more attractive. And with that, you know, you're going to have to make some sacrifices, okay? A lot of these girls, man, they don't want to make any sacrifices. They just want to get into a relationship with a man that everybody else wants, but they don't want to do anything, guys. And they'll get so offended when men ask them to cook or clean. And I guarantee you, guys, nobody's going up to this woman and saying, hey, you should engage in your female duties and cook and clean. Nobody's saying that, guys. You know what I mean? These women, they've got their independence. You can go out there, you can go into the workforce. You don't have to clean for anybody. Okay, but gentlemen, a lot of these modern women, guys, they're going to get to 30 and 40 and 50, and they're going to realize that life will be a real struggle. And, you know, they can cook and clean for themselves. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, we're going through a couple of TikToks that you gentlemen have sent into the show. And we're going to be talking about gender roles today. Now, before we crack into it, guys, if you're new here, you're liking the videos, make sure that you subscribe on your way in and drop your thoughts as we go through. And also, guys, if you're interested in supporting the channel, make sure you check out the locals link in the description, guys. The first month over there is totally free on me with code Fiendish. So if you're interested in supporting, guys, make sure you check that out. But we're going to be running through this woman's points here kind of one at a time. So don't forget to leave your thoughts as we go through here.
Next time a man asks you to take care of your female duties, if a motherfucker asks you to cook and clean for him, please, if my female duties is to cook, clean, and deliver babies, then let's look at the male roles, shall we?
Guys, don't be fooled, okay? This kind of crap is so ridiculous. Nobody is getting into a relationship with this woman and going, you know what? I demand that you perform your womanly duties and you have to cook and clean for me. That's not what happens, guys. Like, a lot of men in modern day society, they'd be happy just having a relationship with a woman who isn't totally psychotic, right? You know what I'm saying? Who's actually, and what I mean by that, guys, that was a bit of an exaggeration, but what I mean is a lot of guys, they're not hard to please. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. If the guy is out there, he's paying all the bills for you, he's paying for your house, and you don't want to even cook and clean, fine, you can go out there, you are welcome to return to the streets. Okay, you've got your independence, you can go out there, you can pay the bills yourself, you can pay for the house, right? You always notice how guys, whenever, you know, just something slight is required of women, they lose their minds. All right, you know what I mean? Like, if a guy is providing all of this for the relationship, and you don't want to cook or clean, that's totally fine. You know, this is modern day society. You can go out there, you can be a boss babe, okay? But if you want something from a man, you have to make compromises yourself. Okay, and again, nobody is coming to this woman in a relationship. I refuse to believe, guys, that there's someone out there who has been in a relationship with this woman and said the following to her. Oh, it is your womanly duty to cook and clean for me. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, nobody, men aren't even that, like, blunt about this sort of stuff, guys, because men will get canceled over this crap. Like, I mean, you say stuff like that in modern day society, oh, everybody will have an issue with you. You see what I'm saying, guys? But, you know, look, if you're with a dude who's doing all these things, yeah, you'll be required to make some sacrifices. Now, is he going to word it to you so bluntly? Probably not. Okay, but here's the thing. You can go out, you can find a different man, you just don't want to.
Are you going to build me a house?
I mean, a lot of men are buying you houses still. Right, let's talk about marriage for a second. It's not as if women are walking out of marriages empty-handed, guys, and oftentimes the men are the ones paying for these houses. Like, women do not marry up, I mean, down, guys. You know what I mean? They do not marry down. A lot of times, guys, you'll notice how marriages will fail when maybe a dude's money dries up. That's because women are with, with the dude for provisioning, guys. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the time, they're just with the dude, just so they have a roof over their head. Guys are still buying you houses. Now, they might not necessarily be building you the houses. Maybe they have a job or a skill set that allows them to buy a house. Okay, but they're still getting the houses for you. So men are still upholding their half. What are you doing? You see what I'm saying? Like, men are still out here doing their half, and it's a lot more difficult these days, by the way, mind you, since we opened up the job market. But again, like, men are still performing, getting the houses for you, and yet you're having an issue over here with cooking and cleaning, right?
Are you going hunting and I'm gonna get me some fresh deer so I can cook it for you?
You gotta love, right, how disingenuous this argument is, because what she's doing is she's saying that, men have to do very, very old stuff. Okay, if I have to go out there and I have to hunt a mammoth for you, you have to cook with essentially no cooking equipment then. Right? Okay, I'll go out and hunt some creature for you, but you have to cook it with no stainless steel, stainless steel equipment. How about that? You can, you see what she's doing, guys, is she's making the man's duties, what would happen way, way, way back in the day, but she's making the woman's duties still easy, and she still loses the argument, guys. You see what I'm saying? Like, and here's the thing, men are providing food for you, right? Men are providing, they're out here, they're paying for the groceries, they're paying for the house. And again, hey, if you don't want that, you can be with a guy who won't require cooking of you, but see, she doesn't want to do that. Right? She wants the guy with money. She wants the guy who's, physically attractive, both together, ideally. But again, you ask them to do one thing and they lose their crap over it.
Are you building me furniture? Are you fighting a war for my freedom?
I love that argument in particular, guys. That right there of, are you fighting a war for my freedom? Well, are you suggesting to me that men are out here in conflicts for girls? Because I thought, if we were following the womanist narrative, gentlemen, I thought men were just these awful people, and we started the wars just because we're dudes. You know what I mean, guys? Like, you've all seen how the narrative is being pushed, right? That, if men weren't around, then we wouldn't have any wars. Right, we wouldn't have any issues like this, and this woman is making the case that we're supposed to be out there, fighting in order for her to, be desirable to be around, essentially, right? In order for her to display one desirable characteristic, i.e., taking care of the home, then we have to be out there fighting. Wow, it's almost as if men fight for women, guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a ridiculous way, because she's put that forward now. And, that doesn't really go with your whole argument that men are out here causing all of these world issues. It's almost as if men are out here because women select the winners, guys.
If the answer is no, then you better learn how to cook and clean and share responsibility, darling, because...
And she goes on to say that times have changed. And here's the final point, guys, before we wrap up this video here. A lot of men, they can cook and clean for themselves. Right? They can go out here, they can make, this is 2021, gentlemen. Like, women often make these videos and they fail to realize that there's actually a lot of successful dudes out here who are watching you make videos like this. And they're like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this woman. Like, I'm not. I always find it funny, right? How women will say, oh, the only men that have standards are the broke ones. There's a lot of dudes out here. I guarantee you right now, guys, there's a few men watching a video like this who have been watching the channel, man. They'd have 7 figures in their bank account right now, and they're looking at girls like this going, you know what, she missed her opportunity. Right? She missed her opportunity. I'm not going to deal with her. You know what I mean? Like, there are dudes out here, they're not necessarily broke, and they're looking at modern day women and they're going, you know what, I think I'd just rather keep my money. I think I can cook for myself, I can clean for myself, you know what, and she lost her opportunity, guys, because a lot of men, they're happy living on their own, right? There's a reason why this side of the internet is so big, guys. Like, a lot of men perfectly content living by themselves. Right, it's the women who realize, right, they get to 30 and 40 and 50, and you know what they realize, guys? Oh, the grass wasn't greener on the other side. I don't want to work for the remainder of my life, so now I want to get with a guy who has all of these things ready to go, and I don't want to pull my weight at all. And that's kind of where we're at with that. Now, Now, guys, we're going to be continuing on to today's next TikTok, so just be mindful of volume here, guys. I have to balance the volume as we go through, and oftentimes I can't tell if the volume is balanced until after the video, so just bear with me, guys, as we jump into this next TikTok.
How men always like to bring up the fact that their grandmothers were able to keep their men and that divorce rates were lower. Sweetheart, some of your grandmothers did not want to stay with your grandfathers. They had no money. They had no financial stability. They had no jobs. They had no rights. And that's why they had to stay with your grandfather. You really think if they had jobs and could pay their own bills like women do now, they wouldn't have left? Please. It's funny.
Okay, let's just take this woman's argument at face value. Are you suggesting to me that women are only with men for provisioning? Right? Because in order to accept what she just said there, guys, you have to accept the fact that a lot of that women are simply with men just for the provisioning. Now, that's her words, not mine, guys. Like, you know, you can take that as you will, but just keep in mind as we talk about her points that she just made there, that is kind of the benchmark that she's just set there. All right, that women are with men simply because of their money, and you know, divorce rates used to be lower because women had to stay or else they were doomed, right? And you know what, maybe there's some truth to that, guys. You let me know in the comments, okay? But just keep that in mind as we go through this video, because that really puts a hole in the theory. Because here's the thing, a lot of women have realized in order to get the resources, you need to manipulate men. That's what you need to do. You need to sell men a dream and say, you know what, I'll love you. Guys, if you're wherever you are right now, guys, maybe you're at your computer, maybe you're at work, maybe you're driving to work, or whatever the case may be, from work. I want you guys to think in your mind right now, have you heard the following from a woman? Oh, I love you. I'm always going to be there for you. Or I'll never leave you. I love you. Like, guys, any form of variant of that. Now, I want you to think, maybe you're nodding to yourself right now and going, yes, Taylor, I've heard that before. Now, I want you to think to yourself, okay, when the relationship ended, was she with another dude within a month? Okay? Now, you see, this is what I'm trying to point out here, guys, is the fact that you can say stuff like this, but at the same time, when you say crap like this on the internet, you're really punching a hole in the love narrative that women have been trying to sell men for a very long period of time. Okay, now here's the thing where I'll get a lot of people, you know, going off at me in the comments for. I'm not saying that it's, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be just for the money, guys. But what I'm saying is there is an agenda in relationships. A girl can be with a dude because he looks a certain way. A girl can be with a guy because he has certain utility. Maybe, you know, if she's younger, maybe he's got a license or something like that. Or maybe he has money, guys. Like, it's not exclusively money. But the premise here is that women form relationships for benefit. They do not do it for love, guys. Okay, now I know I'm going to get quite a few guys in the comments who absolutely lose it at me, like, Taylor, how could you say that? But gentlemen, women pick the top guys. Okay, women pick the top 20% of dudes. So with that in mind, guys, let's kind of continue with the video here.
Like to bring up the fact that their grandmothers were able to keep their men and that divorce rates were lower. Sweetheart, some of your grandmothers did not want to stay with your grandfathers. They had no money. They had no financial stability. They had no jobs. They had no rights. And that's why they had to stay with your grandfather.
Let's talk about that for a second right there, okay? Guys, there are plenty of grandparents that are still together. Okay, they could have taken that dude through the divorce courts a very long time ago. And, you know, some of them have, and some of them have taken the house, and whatever the case may be. But if you're going to suggest to me that there is not a qualitative difference between, you know, grandmothers and this generation of women, excuse me, you're out of your damn mind. Okay, you are out of your mind. Let me tell you a quick story, guys. My grandmother, guys, I remember going to her house when I was younger, man. She'd always have food, and you could like, she was absolutely pleasant to be around, and you could tell there was such a huge difference between how she treated her partner and how women treat their partners today, guys. Like, it's not even close. Like, and the thing is, gentlemen, a lot of these modern women, as per the first TikTok, they'll be insulted if you ask them to cook a meal, right? If you ask them to cook food or pull their own weight in any sort of capacity, right? There is a huge difference between, you know, women of that generation and women of this generation. That's why you'll see TikToks all over the place, where if you show a lot of the older women videos like this, videos like the cooking one, they're going to sit there and they're going to think, you know, what is wrong with this woman? You know, what is wrong with this this girl at the start of the video? You know what I mean, guys? A lot of older women, there is such a huge difference. And now I can see, like, kind of the analytics on the back end of this channel. And a lot of you guys who watch these videos are quite a lot older than myself, and who, you know, maybe you're in that generation, right? Maybe you're an older gentleman, and you notice that there's such a huge difference between modern women and these women on TikTok, guys. It's just it's like it's not even close.
They had no jobs, they had no rights, and that's why they had to stay with your grandfather. You really think if they had jobs and could pay their own bills like women do now, they wouldn't have left?
And here's the thing, okay? You've got your own jobs now. You've got your own independence. You can do with that what you will. So don't come crying to men when you can't pay your bill. Don't come crying to men when you're sitting there, you're working a Starbucks job, right? And you want to come along and you want to expect the doctor to commit to you. Don't, you know, and then you want to get insulted when he asks you to cook or clean. That's on you. You know what I mean, guys? Like, you can go out there, you can be a boss babe, you can be single, you can make your own bread. Nobody is stopping you. You see what I'm saying, gentlemen? Nobody is stopping you from going out there and doing your own thing. This is what you asked for. You asked for the liberation. Now you have it. Okay, so go out there and enjoy yourself, right? Because the thing about that is, guys, is women kick up all this fuss, but hey, it's totally fine. You know, you're a boss babe. You can go out there, you can live your single life, and nobody's going to bat an eye at this kind of crap. You know, this is 2021, gentlemen. A lot of these women, they're out here, quote unquote, living their best life. And with that in mind, guys, we're going to jump into today's article and kind of take a look at this one. And this one, I kid you not, gentlemen, this is actually a real post. Like, I didn't make an account on a website and I didn't write this up. This is actually something that exists here, guys. So this article right here, and it's kind of a bit cut off on your end, is titled, "I am glad the last guy I hooked up with didn't respect me." Okay, because it'll be the last time. Now, this part right here is an absolute lie, but the title, "I am glad the last guy I hooked up with didn't respect me." I want you guys to imagine for a moment that a lot of these grandmothers read a sentence like this. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of these modern women, guys, they're completely ruined by womanism. Completely ruined by it. I'm glad the last guy I hooked up with didn't respect me because it'll be the last time. Guys, there's a reason why I say this is an absolute, you know, just a huge lie, but we'll get into that as we continue with this article. Thank you for not respecting me. Never thought you'd hear that, huh? Thank you for only seeing me as someone to call after you struck out at the bar. Thank you for only seeing me as a body instead of a mind. Thanks for seeing me as someone who wasn't worth a dinner or even a drink that cost more than $12. Because without you, I wouldn't have realized what I was doing to myself. I was so sure that I didn't want to be in a relationship. I thought that I'm young, I'm in college, I shouldn't settle down, I should let myself have fun. I should do what I want and be unapologetic about it. I thought that being with one person wouldn't make me as happy as all the attention I was receiving from guys at parties or tailgates or whatever event I was stumbling into on the weekend. I thought that doing whatever I wanted with whoever I wanted would make me happy. I thought that I would feel empowered. I wanted to feel like the savage player. I wanted to channel my inner Rihanna and just be a boss woman. When I had a roster of guys I could call and use, it made me feel like a dude, and it made me feel powerful. It felt good to be using rather than being used. But while they didn't mean anything to me, I forgot that I didn't mean anything to them either. Instead of me using them, we were both using each other. Guys, let's take a little bit of a pause there. Because reading stuff like this is so absolutely hilarious to kind of go through. Because you know what, guys? These women who go out here and they make these decisions, this is not a one-off, right? They've actually done studies where they take women who have dissatisfaction with their casual hookups, and that dissatisfaction is not actually an indicator, scientifically speaking, statistically speaking, that their behavior is going to discontinue. In other words, guys, women, when they regret these decisions, that does not mean that they stop making them, right? And that is from a data collected standpoint, guys. That is not me making that BS up, okay? Alexander Grace, I believe, did a video on this, gentleman, where women can make articles like this all day, but they don't get off the train. They don't necessarily get off the carousel until it's too late, guys. And you can even make the argument that when they get into a relationship later in life, that they're still looking to go back on it. They're still looking for that next attractive dude, gentlemen. Like, reading stuff like this is so happy to me because these girls think to themselves, oh, I've made my mistakes and now I realize my worth. And 5 years later, she's still doing the same damn thing. Right? 5 years later, she's still making these mistakes. And you know what? When she gets into marriages, when she gets into long-term relationships, she will not be able to hold them together, guys. right? I forgot to mention this point earlier in the video when we looked at the woman on TikTok, right? Who was saying that, the grandmothers are better at keeping relationships together because, they didn't earn any money and that's why they were with him. There's also another point to that, guys, which is that as a person's body count increases, their ability to hold together a relationship decreases statistically, right? Women who have these high body counts, gentlemen, their marriages do not last very long, and they are the variable. You see what I'm saying? They are the variable. It's not as if the dudes are out here canceling all of the marriages, guys. It is the women who are out here canceling all of the marriages. And you know what, guys? Before you even continue, they are rewarded for that behavior. Okay, they are rewarded for going out here and engaging in this kind of behavior. I just want you guys to keep that in mind as we continue through this article, because it's just so ridiculous, man. And again, this is a real article, okay? So let's have a look at this. So I have come to an epiphany. I am not fulfilled. This isn't what I want, and I feel empty. You and all the other boys I was so-called using value me for the awesome person that I am, and I can't blame you either. I never gave you a reason to. As someone who considers themselves a womanist, guys, you can wrap up the article right there. Like you could, oh my word. As someone who considers themselves a womanist, right? Going out. I have to laugh at stuff like that, guys. Like, really, it's such a joke. And I always thought that being bedroom fun orientated and unashamed was liberating and empowering. And for that reason, I never stopped myself from doing what I wanted to. But I am my own worst enemy. And what I wanted is not what I needed. And yeah, I may have wanted you, but I didn't need you. And my heart broke when a friend told me, you're one of the funniest, smartest girls I know. But it's like, no one knows that. I see all of these people treat you like you're nothing. No one gives you credit for the sense of humor and your intelligence. And it sucks watching people treat you like crap because they don't know this other side of you. Now, guys, the thing about this is that I've made this point many times on the channel before, but it's almost as though the people with options tend to treat people like crap. Now, this is how you wind up with situations where if you're a dude on a dating app, you're going to be treated terribly. Right, you're going to be the one sitting there trying to hold these conversations together. You think that these women are out here interested in holding conversations together? They got 50 guys to talk to if they want to, within like a couple hour period. They can talk to 50 dudes who are attractive, right? So the thing is, guys, it's almost as if when people have options, they treat you like crap. Now, only a small percentage of men have options, but every woman has options, guys. And this is why you end up with situations where universally across the board, men are looking at relationships and they're not out here having too much fun. And a lot of guys are walking away from relationships as a whole, right? And when you make deductions like that, guys, like it's not the men, right? It's not the men's fault that this is happening. It's just literally the women's, guys. Their decision making. Now, again, referring back to the first TikTok, you can go out there. You can be a boss babe. You can enjoy yourself, but, prepare to be alone. Okay, or prepare to be with the guy who, hey, you can be with that guy who doesn't demand everything of you. You just don't want to be with him. You can be with a guy who won't say that you should cook, who won't say that you should do anything. But you know what? You don't want to be with that guy. You want to be with that guy who has those standards. But every other guy you demand has zero standards. So let's continue with this article here. And that stung, because I know for a fact that that is true. And you are exactly one of the people who give me zero credit. So this guy said this to this woman. That's funny. Granted, it's how I behave and how I present myself. I'm not just some blonde, blacked out, intoxicated. I can talk about literature for hours. I thrive on debating people. I cite psychological studies that I learned in a lecture in regular conversation, and my friend is right. No one knows that about me or cares to know that about me, especially you. It's not like I am hiding that side of me. It just doesn't come up when you're flirting with someone at a party or when I'm rolling through your house after 2 a.m. on a Friday night. Guys, what do I say? All the time on this channel, guys, where these women, they'll say that they love themselves and they're liberated and they're so strong, and yet they'll be crying and going over to a dude's house at 2 in the morning. Like, guys, how many times have I brought up the 2 a.m. joke? And here it is, written in this article right here. And you probably aren't reading this, nor will you ever read this, because you don't know that I love to write. You don't know what I've been working on. I've been working on a book since I graduated high school. You don't know that I love reading classic literature for fun. You also don't know that even though I love reading, I'd never want to Kindle, because I love the feeling of actually holding a book in my hand. Kindles are sick, by the way. I really like Kindles. You don't know that I annotate every book I read. You don't know that my favorite books are Brave New World and Slaughterhouse-Five. You don't know that I love anything and everything to do with politics. Oh, really? I couldn't gather that. You don't know that I love to debate people. You don't know that I have a black belt in karate. You don't know that I knocked out a boy's tooth when I was 12 years old. You see, all of these things that she's listing, guys, I mean, like, truth be told, I'm going to keep it 100 here. Most men just do not give a crap about this, right? Especially the dudes who you're just getting with on one night off here and there. Like really, gentlemen, it's so funny to read this kind of crap where girls realize, wait a minute, I'm not cared about. You mean to tell me that all of these guys, they only want me for this? And because here's the thing, guys, when women write articles like this and they say, I'm a womanist and I love to debate people, those two qualities alone right there are going to significantly reduce your chance of getting a husband who, you know, like, because the thing is, guys, men are not interested in having these long form debates with you and all these arguments and discussions, guys. Now, I should rephrase that. A lot of men will have those discussions and, debates with you. But for the most part, gentlemen, men in relationships, they don't want to get into like conflict and all these debates and arguments and stuff like that. Men want peace in relationships for the most part. Girls are the ones out here who are trying to get all of the drama. But gentlemen, we're going to be leaving today's show there, cutting it a bit short. Make sure you leave your thoughts and your comments on your way out, guys. And as always, if you're interested in supporting the channel, guys, make sure you check out the locals link in the description. But otherwise, gentlemen, we're going to be calling it there. So as always, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you boys in the next episode. Peace.